For many years, the world saw Reba McEntire as a bright and confident country music star. She stood on stage wearing sparkling outfits, smiling as she sang songs about love, heartbreak, and strength. Fans around the world admired her powerful voice and the honest emotions she brought to every performance. Her music spoke to people who were going through their own struggles, and many felt that Reba understood pain better than most singers. Yet while audiences believed they knew her story, much of her personal journey stayed hidden behind the spotlight. Fame often shows only the best moments, leaving the harder chapters out of view. For Reba, the road to success was filled with difficult relationships, moments of betrayal, and people who deeply shaped her life in ways the public rarely understood. Now, after decades in the music industry and at the age of 70, she has reflected more openly on those experiences. Some of the men who crossed her path helped her grow stronger, while others left emotional wounds that took years to heal. These relationships were not small or unimportant. They were moments that changed the direction of her life and career. Long before sold-out concerts and award-winning albums, Reba was just a young girl growing up on a ranch in Oklahoma, learning about hard work and determination. Her family lived a simple life connected to rodeo culture and ranching, where long days and discipline were normal. Music became her escape from that demanding world. Singing in the car with her siblings during long drives to rodeo events slowly turned into a passion that gave her hope for something bigger. But dreams can sometimes create tension, especially when the people around you do not see the same future you imagine. Reba's journey was not just about becoming famous. It was about proving herself in a world that often doubted her ability and questioned whether she belonged there at all. As she built her career step by step, she encountered powerful figures, close partners, and family members whose actions influenced her deeply. Some supported her dreams, while others challenged them in painful ways. These experiences shaped the woman she eventually became. They taught her lessons about loyalty, independence, trust, and resilience. Looking back now, the chapters of her life form a story much more complicated than the cheerful performer audiences see on stage. Behind the awards and applause are memories of difficult choices, broken trust, and personal battles that forced her to grow stronger than she ever expected. The 5 men who played major roles in these chapters represent turning points in her life. Each relationship revealed something important about her character and determination. Some of them once stood very close to her, while others appeared during critical moments of her rise to fame. Their presence in her life shows that success rarely comes without conflict or heartbreak. Understanding these relationships helps reveal the real story behind the legend of Reba McEntire, a woman who turned challenges into motivation and transformed personal pain into the music that millions of people love today. One of the most important and complicated relationships in the life of Reba McEntire was with Narvel Blackstock. When Narvel first became part of Reba's life, it seemed like everything was finally falling into place. He was not only someone she loved deeply, but he also became a key part of her professional journey. Narvel started working with Reba as her manager, helping guide her through the fast-growing world of country music. At that time, her career was expanding quickly, and having someone she trusted so closely beside her felt comforting. They spent long hours planning tours, discussing music projects, and finding new opportunities that would help her reach bigger audiences. Over time, their professional partnership grew into a personal one. Their relationship felt strong because it was built on both love and shared ambition. Narvel believed in Reba's talent and worked hard to push her career forward. Together, they built something that looked like a perfect balance between family life and business success. While Reba focused on performing and recording music, Narvel managed the business side of her career, organizing tours, negotiating deals, and helping her expand into television and film projects. To many people in the industry, they appeared to be the ideal team. Their marriage lasted for 26 years, a long period during which they built not only a family life, but also a powerful entertainment empire. They were involved in many different ventures, including television shows, large concert tours, and business partnerships that extended far beyond country music. Fans admired how they seemed to support each other in both personal and professional ways. Because they had built so much together, Reba trusted Narvel completely. He was not just her husband, he was the person helping guide the direction of her entire career. She believed their life together was stable and secure after everything she had experienced earlier in life. However, even relationships that appear strong from the outside can sometimes change in ways no one expects. In 2015, their marriage came to a sudden and painful end. The divorce shocked many fans because the couple had seemed so united for decades. For Reba, the experience was deeply emotional. After spending so many years working and living together, it was difficult to understand how their relationship had reached that point. The man who had once stood beside her through some of the biggest moments of her career was no longer part of her everyday life. The separation also meant that their professional partnership ended as well, which forced Reba to adjust to a completely new situation in both her personal and business worlds. What made the experience even harder was how quickly life seemed to move forward afterward. When a long marriage ends, the emotional impact does not disappear overnight. For someone who had shared nearly 3 decades with one person, the change felt overwhelming. Many people close to Reba later explained that the divorce was one of the most difficult chapters she had faced in her adult life. It was not simply the end of a marriage, but the loss of a partnership that had shaped almost every part of her career and personal routine. Reba had to rediscover how to move forward on her own, making important decisions without the person who had once been her closest advisor. Even though the experience caused deep pain, it also reminded her of the strength she had built throughout her life. Instead of allowing the situation to define her future, she slowly rebuilt her confidence and continued focusing on her music and creative work. Each time she entered the recording studio, she felt the pressure to obey the expectations placed upon her. Many of the early songs she recorded during those years did not fully represent the artist she hoped to become. They were professionally produced and polished, but they lacked the personal connection she wanted to share with her audience. At times, she felt as though her true voice was being hidden behind decisions made by people who did not understand her story. The situation was even more challenging because the country music industry at that time was largely controlled by men. Young female artists often struggled to be taken seriously when they spoke about their creative ideas. When Reba tried to express her opinions about the direction of her music, she sometimes encountered dismissive responses or quiet laughter. These moments made her feel small and powerless, even though she knew deep down that she had something meaningful to offer listeners. Over time, however, her determination began to grow stronger than her fear. Instead of accepting the situation forever, she slowly started pushing for more control over her music. She began searching for songs that felt true to her personality and experiences. She listened carefully to the advice of songwriters who believed in her voice and encouraged her to take creative risks. The turning point arrived in 1984 with the release of her album, My Kind of Country. This record represented a major shift in her career because it finally reflected the authentic sound she had wanted to share all along. The album connected deeply with fans and helped establish her as one of the leading voices in country music. Its success proved that audiences appreciated honesty and emotional storytelling more than carefully manufactured images. For Reba, the victory was not just about chart positions or record sales. It was about reclaiming control over her artistic identity. The same executive who once doubted her vision now represented everything she had struggled to overcome in the early years of her career. Looking back on that time, she later admitted that the frustration and doubt actually pushed her to become stronger. Being underestimated forced her to fight harder for the freedom to express herself through music. In many ways, that difficult chapter helped shape the confident performer the world would eventually come to admire. Before Reba McEntire became one of the biggest names in country music, she believed she had found stability and understanding in her first marriage. In 1976, she married Charlie Battles, a steer wrestler who was well known in the rodeo world. For Reba, this relationship felt natural and comfortable at the beginning. Both of them came from the same kind of background. They understood the long drives to rodeos, the dust-filled arenas, and the hard-working lifestyle of ranch families. That shared experience made her believe that Charlie would truly understand her dreams and support the life she was trying to build. In the early years of their marriage, Things seemed promising. Reba was still trying to find her place in the music industry, and having someone by her side who knew her past gave her a sense of comfort. Charlie appeared supportive at first. He sometimes traveled with her and stayed involved while she worked to build her career in Nashville. At that stage, she was still an unknown singer trying to convince record labels, radio stations, and audiences that she belonged in country music. The journey was slow and uncertain, and emotional support from family mattered deeply. However, as the years passed, her career began to grow in ways neither of them fully expected. More people started recognizing her voice, and her performances attracted larger audiences. She spent increasing amounts of time traveling for concerts, recording music, and attending industry events. With success came long tours, busy schedules, and weeks away from home. While these opportunities helped her career move forward, they also created distance within her marriage. What once felt like shared excitement gradually turned into tension. Charlie began to struggle with the attention and independence that came with her rising fame. Fans admired her, crowds cheered her name, and industry professionals treated her like an important figure in country music. For someone who was used to the traditional roles of ranch life, this change was not easy to accept. Over time, the support he once showed began to fade. Instead of celebrating her achievements, he sometimes questioned the choices she made to continue growing her career. Arguments slowly became more common between them. Reba often found herself trying to balance two very different worlds. On one hand, she wanted to be a loyal and loving wife who respected her marriage. On the other hand, she was building a career that required dedication, travel, and personal independence. The more her success grew, the more pressure their relationship seemed to face. Charlie reportedly became uncomfortable with the level of attention she received from fans and the music industry. He sometimes expressed jealousy about the lifestyle that came with her career. These feelings created emotional distance between them, even though Reba continued trying to make the marriage work. Loyalty was extremely important to her, and she believed that relationships should not be abandoned easily. For years, she remained committed to the idea that their problems could be solved with patience and understanding. However, the strain continued to build. By the mid-1980s, Reba's career had reached a new level of national recognition. Her songs were climbing the charts, and she was becoming a familiar name across the country. While the professional success brought excitement, it also made the struggles at home even more difficult to ignore. Instead of feeling proud of her accomplishments, Charlie reportedly became more critical and distant. The dreams they once shared seemed to move in completely different directions. Eventually, Reba faced one of the hardest decisions of her life. She realized that continuing the marriage might mean sacrificing the future she had worked so hard to build. After 11 years together, she filed for divorce in 1987. The decision brought deep emotional pain, but it also allowed her to step forward into a life where she could fully pursue her goals without constant conflict. Looking back on that chapter, Reba later described it as a powerful lesson about independence and self-respect. She learned that love alone is not always enough to sustain a relationship when two people begin moving toward different futures. The experience also shaped how she viewed partnership and support in the years that followed. While the marriage ended with heartbreak, it ultimately helped her understand the importance of surrounding herself with people who believed in her dreams rather than resisting them. Long before fame, awards, and sold-out concerts, Reba McEntire was simply a young girl growing up on a ranch in Oklahoma. Her childhood was shaped by the wide-open plains, long days of hard work, and the traditions of rodeo life. Her father, Clark McEntire, was a respected figure in the rodeo world. He had won several championships and was known for his strong discipline and determination. In the rodeo community, he was admired for his skill and dedication. But at home, his personality could feel strict and demanding. Clark believed strongly in hard work, toughness, and practical choices. He valued careers that involved physical effort and responsibility, and he expected his children to grow up with the same mindset. Because of this, music was never something he considered a serious path for his daughter. To him, singing was more of a hobby than a real career. While Reba's mother believed deeply in her daughter's talent, her father often saw things differently. This difference in belief created an emotional struggle for Reba during her younger years. She loved music from a very early age. Long drives to rodeos often turned into small family singing sessions, where Reba and her siblings would practice harmonies together while traveling from one event to another. Those moments helped her discover how much joy singing brought into her life. Her mother encouraged these moments and believed that Reba had something special in her voice. She pushed her to continue singing and developing her talent. But her father rarely showed the same enthusiasm. Instead, he often reminded her that dreams alone could not support a family or build a stable future. For a young girl who admired her father deeply, those words carried a lot of weight. Reba wanted nothing more than to make him proud, but she often felt that her passion for music disappointed him rather than impressed him. As she grew older, the emotional impact of his skepticism stayed with her. When she talked about wanting to become a professional singer, Clark sometimes responded with doubt rather than encouragement. He warned her that the music industry was unpredictable and that many talented people failed despite their efforts. From his perspective, he was trying to protect his daughter from disappointment. But for Reba, those comments sometimes felt like rejection. She wished that her father could see the same potential that her mother saw in her. The lack of encouragement from someone she respected so much created a mix of determination and sadness inside her. Instead of giving up, she began using those doubts as motivation. Every performance, every rehearsal, and every small opportunity to sing became another step toward proving that her dreams were possible. During her time at Southeastern Oklahoma State University, Reba continued working hard to develop her talent while balancing school responsibilities. She sang at local events, rodeos, and small gatherings whenever she had the chance. Slowly, those performances helped her build confidence on stage. The turning point in her life came in 1974 when she was invited to sing the national anthem at the National Finals Rodeo in Oklahoma City. During that performance, country singer Red Steagall heard her voice and recognized her potential immediately. Impressed by her talent, he helped her take the first steps toward recording music professionally. That moment eventually led to her moving to Nashville and beginning the journey that would transform her life forever. Even as her career started growing, the memory of her father's early doubts never completely disappeared. In interviews later in life, Reba admitted that those experiences shaped her determination in powerful ways. Part of her motivation to succeed came from wanting to prove that her dreams were real and meaningful. Over time, her relationship with her father improved as he witnessed the success she achieved. Seeing his daughter perform for thousands of fans and hearing her songs on the radio gradually changed his perspective. Although the early years had been filled with doubt, those struggles helped form the resilience that defined Reba's personality throughout her career. The lessons she learned from that relationship stayed with her long after she became famous. They reminded her that sometimes the people we want approval from the most may not understand our dreams at first. But with patience, persistence, and belief in oneself, it is possible to turn doubt into motivation and create a path that others